Hi, this is Priya, and in this video series, we will look in detail about how tree output of the log manager is useful on what it is about. Okay, this is a very simple tree file that I have shown here. So the tree output was designed to give you a textual representation of a tree. So whenever an order or any task is executed, always the tree of execution is the order spans more tasks, and the tasks which is represented by the operation ID in the controller service again spans the step IDs to complete the task, which is encompassed in a workflow, but we didn't get to the intricacies of it. So this represents the textual representation of, in this example, an order. So when an order, the example here is 99, was placed, it was associated with an order ID, which has a one-on-one relationship. So this is the order ID that you see here, right? And when this was executed, it was associated with the task, so that becomes the child of this, and it was associated with the operation ID that you see here. So for the completion of this task, subsequent steps were created. The step spawns more steps to complete what this order was intended to do. So this order was successful, so that's why here you see that export volume to a host was success. And these are each individual steps that were completed to for completing the request of the order. So again, here this plus denotes that this is the child of the above parent, which is this order number 99. 2 pluses denotes thus that this is the child of the plus parent above. So this is the child of this parent, which is plus. The 3 pluses denotes that this is the child of the 2 plus parent above, right? It is, as I said, it is a textual representation of the tree. Okay, now this is an easier one. Let's get into another file which I want to talk to you about. Okay, let's take this host. So I ran this. So this is the output that was generated when I investigated a log file using host ID as an input, as the order input. So it brought out all the orders and the discovery task that were executed on that host for the time period in which I collected the logs. Okay, so this was the first order that failed. You can see that it failed. Okay, so that's why there were no tasks or steps that were created. That was the scenario in this order. It need not be the case always. So this order 99 was completed successfully, as you can see here, and this is the same one that we saw earlier, right? And this is the discovery that happened. So if it is not the child of the any parent above, then it will be by itself. Okay, now let's look at this particular tree output. Yes, this is a tree output, and this was generated for an export group. This is the ID of the export group that I know. Okay, so these are all the orders that were executed. There were many orders that were executed. Some passed, some failed. So this gives me an idea of, okay, what are all the orders executed for this particular export group, and few passed, and it started failing after some time. Okay, so there's nothing new. As I explained before, these are the tasks and the steps that created. Okay, and suddenly I'm seeing an error. So the user, what he can do is he can go into the log file, probably take the tasks, take the orders that were completed successfully and the orders that failed. Just combine those two. For example, these two, and see what happened. Probably there was some concurrency failures or anything like that. That will be useful for him to triage. Okay, let's look at another one. So this was another log file that was investigated, wherein this is the step. As you know, step is a 32-byte alphanumeric, which is not appended with any URN or anything like that, right? So this was not associated with any order number or the task or the op ID. Okay, this was a scenario that happened in one of the customer environment. So here, what the log manager can take a step ID and spit out all the associated steps that were that happened. So this was very useful to identify, because always we will be looking at orders or tasks, but in this case, this was a step that was not completed, and in the database it was marked as incomplete. And for some reason, when the ViPR nodes were restarted, the step was triggered, and this removed all the zones, right? So people were wondering what happened. So from the log files, it was very easier to find, okay, this step did all these concurrent operations. So it was very useful. Okay, let's look at another one. So I wanted to bring this out because the one of the status that the tree outputs is the success or the error, right? So this is very useful to identify which step failed. So knowing this will help you to identify, okay, this step failed. So what happened? So one of the delete volumes was successful, but the other failed, which was spawned by the same step, right? So in such cases, it will be very useful to find rather than pondering over the logs. And okay, this is another one wherein so when a ViPR controller it tries to combine a group of steps to be completed. If one failed, the other steps gets cancelled. So that is what we are trying to tell here. That you can see a one view of, okay, all the steps that got cancelled, and because of an error that happened and because of the rollbacks, all the steps that were supposed to happen were cancelled. So thus, ViPR Log Manager is very useful for you to analyze, and the tree output helps you to take one look at what happened with the order that you're investigating, and give you more details. Thank you so much for watching.